Hey everybody, Ken Tamplin here, and you are listening to Rock and Metal Faith Podcast. Whoa!
Welcome to the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast, where music and faith collide. If you like hardcore Jesus rock and roll or are curious as to what it's all about, you've come to the right place. From the classic bands to the up-and-comers and all those in between, we talk about them all right here. So come and join us as we rock the hell out of you, as we rock for the King. And on this episode, we are finally coming down to the end of our list of top guitarists. We've been doing the top 100 guitarists, and we're going to reach the end this episode with the top 10. Woo! Are you ready to rock and roll, Chris?
I think so. Yep.
All right, this is the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Rockman H, joined as always by my co-host, Chris. How are you doing?
How's it going, Aaron?
Good. We got some news to get caught up on before we get to our list of top guitarists.
Did you find 10? I found 6.
I found 10. I mean,
okay.
I started out with 5 and kept adding the list, and I actually had to rearrange my list a little bit because I forgot about a couple of my favorites. We'll get
what I've been.
We'll get to that in a bit. We'll talk about the main list that we've been talking about too when we get to that. First order of business though is news, and we got a couple new subscribers on YouTube. First one is, I hope I say this name correctly, Yarez Mesquita.
Oh, nice name.
And a co-worker of mine, Raina, has subscribed on YouTube. So how are you doing, Raina?
Raina, let us know how we're doing.
All right, and we've got a few comments. I'm going to read this one off first. This is actually our newest comment, or off our newest episode from the last one, One Bad Pig. This was posted actually on Reddit. I've started posting the episodes on a feed on Reddit, and I was wondering if I should continue to do so or not, but I keep getting a couple comments here and there, so maybe it's working. From Abstract Module Music, they say, I can always use a little One Bad Pig now and then. So I'm assuming that means they liked it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how they enjoyed it.
All right. Also in the comments section, we got our first negative comment. We've been going a year and a half. This one goes back to our episode with Scott Wenzel. Apparently they didn't like the interview. From Michael Beesvold. This came from YouTube. He says, worst interview I've ever heard. Sorry that Scotty had to go through that. And then he says, sounds good, LOL. So I'm kind of confused. Did he like it? Did he not like it?
I think he's saying he doesn't like it, but then he came back maybe 15 minutes later and thought, maybe it was okay.
And you know what? We'll take the good with the bad.
Yes, we prefer good, but hey, can't please everybody.
There we go. And we're not afraid of negative comments. We'll read them on the air.
You might not be, but...
Are your feelings hurt?
I can take it. Bring it on.
I was going to say, are your feelings hurt now, Chris?
I won't take it personally. I have thick skin. It's okay.
All right. We got another comment on the Dale Thompson interview from a site called Podmatch. They said they're loving this. Thanks for sharing. That actually brings up a couple of things I also want to talk about in the news. We'll get to that. And back to the positive, we got another positive one about our One Bad Pig episode. Donald Davis says, totally forgot about One Bad Pig. I remember hearing about them, but probably never gave them a chance because of their look. Standout for me was You're a Pagan, which I can imagine riding down the road blasting out that song. Still, there are two skater punk sound looking for me. Well, I can kind of get that.
Yeah, that.
That's probably what you don't like about them either, eh, Chris?
I'm trying to remember what they look like, but they were probably punk
Yeah,
guys, right?
we
With their
talked about that. There's a picture of them on the back cover. They look like, yeah, skaters. They've got the short hair. They got the bald caps misaligned, wearing backwards or sideways or whatever. I don't know, but I never understood
you
that.
know what Jesus says, do not judge, right? So,
No. I'm just trying to
and I'm
describe
sure
their
they're
look.
great guys. So,
And then they write a song about, the long hairs, people should cut their hair. But
what if you don't want to cut your hair?
yeah. In the news, actually, one other thing too is hopefully everything went smooth. There was a little glitch with the One Bad Pig episode. Some people may notice it was up, and then there was a double episode of the same thing, and then one episode disappeared. What happened there was I released the episode, and I thought I had it all edited the way I wanted, and one of the songs was missing. Our intro song was missing. The space for it was there, but it wasn't hearable or wasn't audible. And I missed that somehow in the editing. I thought everything like that was fixed. And when I went back after it was published, I'm like, oh, I got to fix that. So went back and fixed that and released the episode and took the old one down. And we're also in transition period right now. Kind of lost as far as how the stats are going because I've moved the hosting site. We used to be hosted on Spotify. I've changed sites because the site I'm on now will give us a web page. So we're going to have a web page up.
Hey, that's a big bonus right there.
Yeah, there's not much on it, but you will be able to find all our episodes on the web page. So you can, find us on the internet, on your browser, as well as all the other streaming platforms. And I hope that's going to go smooth. I've already kind of started the switch over for that. And also discovered there's lots of, I think, podcast platforms that we weren't on previously that we should be on now. So, yeah, hopefully things are going on the up.
How would people find it?
I'm going to post the link to the website in the show notes. That's the place. One more thing in the news. Immortal Fest has just wrapped up at the time of this recording. And there was a lot of chatter over what happened at Immortal Fest. And it went off nice and smooth, but one of the bands kind of made a comment about how the turnout isn't as big as it was back in like the 90s or whatever. And he was just kind of wondering where all the Christian rock fans are because it seems like it's such a low turnout type of thing.
Really?
Yeah. A couple other bands that were there saw that post and kind of shot back and said, you know what? They were happy to be there. They're happy playing for, spread the message to whoever shows up. They're not worried about the audience size. And there was a little, back and forth going on between them. And the band that started this all off, whatever, I'm actually a Facebook friend's singer on Messenger. And, I kind of explained the situation too. And I think it was explained by one of the other guys. And I said to him, you know what? I would love to see you guys live. The problem is I'm in a small market city. We're up here in Canada. We don't even get Christian bands. We had
If we're lucky,
Yeah, we had Petra on their, 50th tour, and we're lucky to get that. And, we're kind of living paycheck type of thing. So we get no money to travel. We're not going down the States. And I said, I'd love to see you guys. But also it's a small market city that even if they did come, the
Where
audience,
would you go?
the audience size is in there because I think they would be lucky to bring in 20 people type of thing. I know there are a few fans of ours here in Edmonton that do listen to those bands. And so they would get, a few people out, but not enough to book a show, unfortunately. So as much as I'd love to see, these live Christian bands, I don't think it's going to happen for me. I'll just have to keep dreaming, I guess.
Not unless there's a promoter. Right, years ago there was a guy here who had the money, and most importantly, he had the drive and the interest to bring bands here.
Yeah.
But even that, Aaron, a lot of these American bands, when they find out that, oh, this guy wants to book us, where is he? Northern Canada. They don't want to come up this far.
Yeah, I'm sure it's because they're dealing with the difference in the dollar value.
Yeah.
I don't know how it goes as far as taxes and customs and imports and all that. That might be a factor too. I don't know.
I think if someone wants to do that, you'd have to bring in multiple bands to make it worth it.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do here.
Well, and that's kind of the way it has to go everywhere. I know a lot of the mainstream bands don't make money anymore. A lot of these hair bands that we used to listen to back in the 80s, if they're still going, they're not doing the big tours because there was no money in the tours. I know a couple of them said, you know what, I don't know, they may work during the day or what, I don't know, but they'll fly out and do a couple shows on the weekend and go fly back home. And it's more profitable for them to do that.
That and the other thing, YouTube. Why do they have to go anywhere when they could put their live show on YouTube?
Well, and that brings up the other thing too. And I know Immortal Fest was live streamed. You could pay for the live stream. The other thing is, I don't know. To me, it's not the same watching a concert on YouTube or watching it on your computer.
I know.
And I've seen clips of bands from Immortal Fest pop up on the socials, pop up on Facebook and all this. And I'll watch them a little bit. But, watching it on my phone just isn't the same. Now, maybe if I
know.
Maybe if I shot it to my TV and turned the volume up, that might be a different story. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that's right. But exactly, Aaron. Like, it's better to be at the show and you get the atmosphere. You're with other people.
And I get it. This is how bands make money. Because they were talking about, well, why not pay for the live stream? Well, that's my view on the live stream. I've just said that. I do try and support bands when I can as much as possible. I have bought actual CDs from the bands, and the band that started this whole debate there, I did buy their latest CD.
To see them, I would think you'd want people in person, but that's changed. And we've talked to Rex about that a couple, once already.
Yeah. Well, the whole music scene has changed too, and there just isn't money in the music scene, which is unfortunate. And I know a couple bands that were at Immortal Fest, Saint being one of them, will do the festivals, but otherwise they don't tour a whole lot because most of them have day jobs. They're not making money being in the band to support themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of them have jobs. Yeah.
Anyways, enough with that. Let's get into our Plug It In segment. Time to plug it in and turn it up. All right, for our Plug It In segment, I was kind of going back and forth again, trying to figure out what song I was going to play. I figured, because we're talking about top 10 Christian bands, that there's kind of a song about that maybe it's time to pull out and play. So from Barren, we're going to play Imaginary Music. And this is about people dreaming of being rock stars, dancing around with, singing into a hairbrush, dancing around, strumming an air guitar. imagining that they're on the big stage and imagining that they're a big rock star. So from Barren Cross, Imaginary Music. All right. And Imaginary Music from Barren Cross.
That is a good song. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you a fan of Barren Cross?
Not really, but I'm getting there. Now as an adult, you know.
Yeah. I never heard much from them back in the day when they were together. Where they are now, Michael Drive, who is the vocalist, has his own project now called Human Code. We've talked about them a few times on the program. Really good. I believe Human Code may have been at Immortal Fest this past year again.
He's got a voice. Holy smokes. Wow.
And it's funny because Barren Cross was one of those bands that got compared to another band all the time. You know, back in the day, they had that list in the bookstores. If you like so-and-so, you're going to like this band. If you like Rat, you'll like White Cross. If you like Iron Maiden, check out Barren Cross.
There, I could see that comparison. He could, wow.
And you know, a lot of these guys didn't like the comparisons, but it's funny because I was listening to a playlist a couple weeks ago, and it was just a random playlist of a bunch of Christian artists, and all of a sudden, Barren Cross popped up, and my wife was in the room, and she says, "Who is this? This is Iron Maiden, isn't it?" I said, "No." She says, "Well, sure sounds like. Are you sure Bruce Dickinson didn't sing for them at one point?" I said, "No."
Yeah.
All right.
That song, wow. I mean, it had so much energy. It was awesome. Like,
Oh yeah, no, it's great. And that's off the Atomic Arena albums. For those of you who want to check it out.
yeah, not everything's on Spotify, which is disappointing. But oh
no,
well.
that's another reason to buy CDs when you can find the CDs. You don't have to worry about it disappearing.
But I don't have a CD player anymore.
Well, why not? You should. Anyways, talking about CDs, you know what? That's a good segue now into the news story that I forgot, and I just remembered I want to talk about. We've got another contest coming up. We had a contest a little while back with the latest Bride CD. Well, we've got another contest. We've got the same artist under two different names has given me a couple CDs, 2 different projects, and I was gonna pick one of those songs to play or to plug it in so people would know what they're getting in the contest. But I wanted to play Barren Cross, so we play Barren Cross. I'm gonna describe it. The artist known as Lazarus Grimm, he's gonna be on next episode. We're gonna talk to him. All right, and those who are wondering what Lazarus Grimm sounds like, we've got a little bit of his music playing in the background right now. We're going to talk more about him on the next episode, so you'll find out more about his music. Like I said, if you're interested in a free copy of his CD, let us know, and from all the people we receive, we will pick who gets the copy. So Lazarus Grimm, and I know both these albums are on Spotify. He's got one album out right now. This is very metalcore. For those of you who are into metalcore, so look up Lazarus Grimm, Destroying Your Legacy. I believe you can find him on Spotify. And I might even throw a couple songs into our Spotify playlist if people want to check that out. With every episode we put out, I keep adding to the Rock and Metal Faith podcast playlist on Spotify. Anyway, so if you're into metalcore, now this guy can sing. He's got some very beautiful vocals in his song, and then he turns around and does a lot of screaming too, because it's metalcore. The same artist has also written a softer CD under the name Veil Bright. And I believe this also is on Spotify too. Veil Bright. These are a bunch of songs that he wrote for his wife. So if you like metalcore, I've got his CD called Destroying Your Legacy. I've got 2 of that CD that I'm giving away. I've got 3 of the Veil Bright. So if you're not into metalcore, but you want something softer, we'll definitely be playing music off both CDs next episode when we talk to Lazarus Grimm and Veil Bright. That's just his music name. That's not his actual name. But I'm giving people a heads up. If they want a copy of this, let us know in the comments, through email. All the ways that we've been mentioning, you guys can contact us. And not even any trivia question this time. Just whoever wants it, let me know. Probably in a month or so, I'll do a random pick of all the entries. And so that's that. Now we're going to talk about our list on the top 100 guitarists. We're down to the top 10. I didn't tell Chris well, I told Chris a couple people who were on the list. I didn't show him the list. So
Yeah, which wasn't fair.
I want your reaction to it. And you know what? A lot of times you don't do your research anyway, so.
That's not fair. I did my research today. So I'm set to go with 5 of them.
All right. I did ask Chris, though, to make up his own top list.
Yeah, and I did.
All right. So how many did you make? Your top 5 or top what?
6.
Okay.
3, 4.
You got 6? All right.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you and I are going to have a bunch of overlap. Who's your number 6?
Oh, we're going backwards?
Yeah, we'll go backwards.
Okay. Drew Shirley of Switchfoot.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, that's one not on my list. So there you go. We'll get a few other bands and artists in here. My number 6 is from Rez, and I picked Glenn Kaiser.
Yeah.
All right. Your number 5?
My number 5 was Stu Verrett from Delirious.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I never heard much of Delirious. I think I've heard a few of their songs.
Good. Yeah.
All right. A lot of my list, actually, some of them I think have already been mentioned, so I know they're not lining up with the main list that we're going to be talking about. But I want to just to do yours and my top five, top six, whatever we came up with, and then we'll kind of compare the list. I know this guy on my number 5 has been on the list already mentioned, so he didn't make the top 10 on the main list. And I picked Troy Thompson of Bride and stuff because I think he's come up with some great rhythm. He's got some great licks, especially on the later albums. And he's got some great work on the classic albums. He's a great rhythm guitarist as well,
Yeah.
and comes up with some great riffs. All right, you're number 4.
My number 4 is a guy we've already talked to a lot, Rex Carroll.
That's number 4. I thought you said you were going to put him at 1.
1, 2, 3. No, he's
He's at
never
4.
mind.
Okay.
Delete that. You can delete that. Was my next one is Phil Kagi.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Yes.
And yeah, I got a lot more to say about him later in the episode.
Oh, okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
I guess I could. Number 3. I guess my number 3 would have been. It's kind of tied between 2 and 1. I mean.
Okay. Well, hang on. Okay. Say your number 3 if you want, and then I'll say my 4 and 3.
Okay, my number 3 would be our good friend Ken Taplin. Awesome guitarist. I mean,
oh yes,
his single "Living for My Lord" in the early '80s, '90s. Wow.
Yeah, that was good song.
Guitars work now, like awesome.
All right, my number 4 is a guy we know and love for the past 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, longer, about as long as I've been alive, I guess. Bob Hartman from Petra.
Yes, he was tied with my number 1.
Oh, okay. And number 3, I went with C.J. Grimmark, who is the guitarist for Narnia.
Right. Wow.
All right. So you said you tied with number 1. You had Bob Hartman. So
yeah, mine.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your other number 1 then?
My number 1, would have been what you just had, Bob Hartman.
Okay. Who's the other guy?
Ken Taplin.
Oh, okay. So you jumped ahead of me there.
Yeah, they were tied. And then Michael Sweet would have been in there.
Okay. So where did you rank Michael Sweet? At what number?
Tied with number 2.
Oh, okay. Number 2?
Well, yeah, because I like Ken Taplin and Bob Hart. Bob Hartman's just awesome. I mean.
Oh yeah, he's got some great riffs.
Yes.
And he's come up with some pretty good solos too, actually, over the years.
Mm-hmm. Like I've been, last couple of days when I did this listening to Bob Hartman when he did the Beyond Belief album. Wow, like his riffs are just wow, like fantastic.
Anyways, yeah. So we've already talked about my number 2 and my number 1, or briefly talked about number 1. So number 2 is where I put Rex Carroll. I was surprised you had him down lower. I thought you said you were going to make him number 1. Every time I talked to you, you said, "Oh no,
Rex would have been
Rex is
number 1." But I don't want Rex mad at me, so I have to do number 1.
And so I don't know where you're listed. You're all over the place again. Anyways, and what do I always say? The answer to every question is Striper. So number 1 is Michael Sweet.
Yes, Michael Sweet. I thought about him, but I thought I would. Besides Michael Sweet, who else is out there?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, let's say, and for us, the top 3, 5 is probably really easy. They're the guys that have been around many years, still going at it. Classic guys that everybody thinks of. I am glad you did think of a few guys that I didn't think of for your list, just to get a few more bands on here. And all right, so on to our top 10 list, which is kind of a top 11. And I'll explain the list for those who are just joining us for the first time. The top 100 guitar list was created by a online site called Christian Rock Scene, I believe. They compiled a list of guitarists by interviewing artists themselves, their readers, listeners, anyone subscribed to the site, I guess, and people in the industry like managers, record labels. Not everybody on the top 100 list is someone that we would talk about on our program there.
Yeah.
Some of them were kind of a little more mellow or out of our wheelhouse as far as format goes. So we've skipped a few people. We ended up last time, I think, at 13. So that leaves us with 12 people to talk about. However, number 11, we're leaving off the list. So this is kind of like the top 11 for us. And there are going to be a few surprises on here, Chris. Number 12, you were talking about Ken Tamplin. But number 12 is an artist who's worked with Ken, Lanny Cordola. And he appeared on the Shout record. He appeared on, what was it? I think the In Your Face song. They had lots of different lead guitarists playing on that. And Lanny Cordola is kind of got recognition in his own right amongst the scene. So yeah, number 12 is Lanny Cordola of Shout and a solo artist. All right. So Lanny Cordola comes in at number 12. We're skipping 11. And we're coming down to actually mainstream artist who is a Christian. Number 10 is The Edge from U2. So I'm not sure if I'd put him in. I'm not sure if I'd put him at number 10. I know he's well respected. On my list, he doesn't make the top 10, put it that way. But I guess overall, when you interview enough people, he makes the top 10. Any thoughts on U2 or The Edge?
U2 is awesome. They're awesome. Do you like U2 or?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of theirs. I think the early stuff up till including Pop Mart or whatever.
Bloody Sunday is a good song, and
yeah,
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever bought from U2 was I think their greatest hits. I was never a fan to go out and buy a full studio album, but they're all right. Haven't listened to them for a long time.
I love their song Discotheque.
Okay.
That's a good song.
Yeah, the only thing I got against The Edge is at times, or especially around that time, you realize too much on effects, where I like, and there's nothing wrong with effects and, and having pedals or this, that, but I think you should be able to play a song just plain on acoustic and still get the essence of the song out.
Yeah.
Anyways, coming in at number 9, the guy we've already talked about briefly. We've talked a little bit on the program. He was he was on my list of top 5 at number 3. And the main list has him at number 9. CJ or Carl Johan Grimmark of Narnia. So yeah, if you haven't heard Narnia, great band. They've been around a long time themselves. They do a lot of speed playing as well, but some great writing in their songs too. Are you a fan of Narnia?
I haven't really checked them out, but I will now.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out.
We go, we'll never
Well, I
So
think that took care of my guitar fix for the week.
so that's a little bit of Narnia for you. Well, that took care of your guitar with it. That's only
That
number
was from
9 there.
Narnia?
That was from Narnia. Yeah, that's only a number 9, CJ Grimmark. All
What
right.
song is that?
Reaching for the Top.
That's a good song. Wow.
Coming in at number 8 is an artist we've had on the program. Go back and check out the interview we had. Actually, it was kind of a controversial interview. One of your favorites at number 8 is Ken Tamplin.
Awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. Wow.
All right. And coming in at number 7, band we haven't talked about a whole lot. It's funny because just a couple days ago, or yesterday or this morning, someone posted a video of him playing at a local club and just tearing up and doing some great lead solo work. Number 7 is Dan Huff of Whiteheart.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes,
yeah,
I
well,
forgot
we
about
haven't
him.
talked about Whiteheart a whole lot. I was a casual fan of theirs. I don't know anything. I'd like to get the Powerhouse record. I used to have the song Powerhouse on some mixed tape back in the day.
Power. Oh, you get the power.
And we may get around to talking about Whiteheart. There's so many bands that we can talk to. In fact,
That's right.
we've been stretching out this top 10 list for probably almost a year now, I think. And we've
It's been a while.
yeah. Well, we don't do it all at once. Like, I think this is our 5th episode in the series. And anytime we do a series, we don't do the whole series all at once. We stretch it out and do other things in between. We've been talking about the history of Christian rock throughout the year as well. We've got a few more episodes on that I want to kind of get to as well. But anytime we talk about an artist or talk about bands we used to listen to, we're talking about the history of Christian rock. So it's always the history of Christian rock around here.
Yeah.
All right. Number 6 is an artist I wasn't quite so familiar with. I had to search him out and have a listen to do my own little research. Number 6 is Lincoln Brewster. He's done his solo work. He has toured and played with Michael W. Smith as well as Steve Perry. I imagine that's when Steve Perry left Journey. He probably went out and did his own thing. So this guy's been around. I listened to his solo stuff on Spotify. It's some good guitar playing. Most of his stuff sounds like very upbeat rock and praise stuff. So maybe that's what he did on his own. I'm not hugely familiar with Lincoln Brewster, but on the main list, comes in at number 6. Any thoughts on Lincoln?
On Lincoln?
Yeah.
Lincoln Brewster?
Yeah.
I never really got into them, but they almost reminded me back in the day being in youth group. They were pretty big back then.
Right.
And I thought they were more like a kid band,
Yeah. That probably was like anything I heard of that I've heard from him now recently, what has been all praise type lyrics, which is nothing wrong with it. But yeah, it's just heavy rock, praise lyrics. And, you know what? Kudos to him. Sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah, they've grown up. I mean, when I watched it again, I'm like, wow, okay. But they're not like, how am I going to put it? I guess, I mean, I'm a fan of Ken and Rex Bride. Lincoln Brewster would be okay. Like, their lyrics are good, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think I would have, if he was on the top 100, I would have put him way somewhere near the bottom. I think there's lots of people I would have put higher than him on the list. But that's what this episode's about, is looking at the main list. Basically, I found this list, I think, through Facebook. I think someone had posted the list or the link to the list, and I thought this whole list would have been a great topic to talk about. All right, moving on to number 5 on our list. I hope I say his name correctly. Chris Impellitteri.
Wow,
And if
that's quite a name.
yeah, he puts out records under his last name, Impellitteri. He had one out last year. This guy, oh, I was gonna say, you could compare him to Yngwie Malmsteen. Sounds a lot like the band that backs up Rob Rock. That kind of playing. Very fast, very speed metal. That's where the Yngwie Malmsteen comparison comes in. And as I was listening to his last record that he put out, it does remind me a lot of Rob Rock's style, put it that way. So we got one of our speed metal players coming in at number 5. All right. Number 4. Here's a guy we talked about. Another artist that is a mainstream artist and became a Christian. He became a Christian after his band's big album, big hits. But we have at number 4, Terry Livgren from the band Kansas. You'll know them with Carry On Wayward Son was their big hit, probably the one big hit that radio always plays all the time now. But yes, he became a Christian in 1979, kind of after Kansas stopped getting radio play. But yeah, definitely go back and check him out. We talked about him on our episode about Christians in non-Christian bands. Now, number 3 is an artist we know from the band Guardian, Tony Palacios. I love Guardian.
Yeah, his riffs are pretty good. Yeah.
Miracle Mile was a great album. I've got the solo from Guardian. This comes off of their second album, I believe.
Rocket. Come on, dude. Come on, Rocket.
I want to play something good. That's the only problem I have with Guardian is they did put out a couple not so good albums, but I was gonna play something off of Miracle Mile because I love Miracle Mile. But their second album as well, Fire and Love, is a great album too.
Fire and Love, that's a good song.
And we played lots from Miracle Mile because we already talked about that. So, for those who are just joining us, you want to go back and hear our episode about Miracle Mile from the Guardian, go back. That's in the archives. Off of Fire and Ice or Fire and Love. All right, so a little bit of Guardian for you from the song Turn Around off of Fire and Love. Great band. I think they're still out there doing stuff. I know Jamie Rowe was with Guardian. I'm not sure if he still is. I think he's back with them at times. Jamie Rowe, the vocalist there, has got his own project out under the name Calamity Kills. And he's on social media all the time talking about that. He says now that Calamity Kills has been established as a band, he's ready to do shows with Guardian again. So hopefully Guardian's out there doing shows in the future. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, one of our favorite guitarists. Don't really need to say anything more about him. He was on your list, my list, number 2, number 1, where we play him every time, every episode. No, it's not Striper. We already had Michael Sweet on the main list earlier. Unfortunately, he did not make the top 10 on the main list. I don't know what's wrong with people. Why did Michael Sweet not make number one? I don't know. But number two, we play him every time we start the podcast off. Rex Carroll of Whitecross.
Yeah.
Need we say any more about Rex?
This is Rex Carroll, lead guitar player from Whitecross. You are listening to the Rock and Metal Faith Podcast. Crank it hard, crank it heavy, crank it all day long.
Maybe we could ask Rex to do that little solo for us. That would be awesome.
Well, he did on the last interview. Remember, I talked about he talks about how he always does a solo on the records because he's a big Eddie Van Halen fan. And Eddie always puts some kind of solo on the record, so he had to do the same thing. And even on a solo record, the Rex Carroll Band, he does it. And I brought that up, and he's, oh, yeah, I can do that. And so he does that.
Yeah.
So.
That song's a great solo. And it's like I still quote parts of that even today, you know. So. So not very well done.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
And we will have more and more. We were kind of thinking when we had the last interview, talking all about High Gear and what went on behind the scenes with White.
Yeah,
with
we got to
High Gear.
jump to the next one. Yeah. Down the road.
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to do a bunch of series real quick, like not back to back, but almost one a month. And we just started doing other. We've just been doing busy doing other episodes, and there's other episodes I want to get to, but we will definitely have them on in the future and talk about the early Whitecross records, and we'll try and do an episode per album or something like that.
And we'll get him to do a little guitar solo for us. That'd be awesome.
We might have to twist his arm. He doesn't want to play guitar when he's doing interviews.
Yeah. You can send him that clip. That would be fun. Yeah.
All right, number one. I think we've already talked about him a little bit because he was on your list. Here's an artist that has got lots of recognition in the community. Number one is Phil Keaggy.
Yeah.
He's got lots of recognition. Even Michael Sweet, I think, was talking about his favorite guitarist recently, and Phil Keaggy made the list. And this is favorite overall guitarist for Michael Sweet, mainstream as well as just favorite overall guitarist, and Keaggy. And for those who don't know, you know what? And we probably should have covered him in the early days of our history of that series, but we haven't. So we're going to talk about him now. Phil Keaggy, he's got, like I said, recognition from many in the community as a very influential guitarist. He is very versatile, plays acoustic as well as electric, and I'm talking about acoustic. We're talking finger picking, finger style, as well as almost like classical style guitar on the acoustic. He plays the electric too. He plays blues. He plays straight ahead rock, classical. He's one of those artists where you name it, he can probably play it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of history there. He's also a 7-time Dove Award winner for instrumental album.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah, and his music is kind of all over the place. It's hard to say he is this, he's that, because he does everything. When I was listening to his best of Phil Keaggy or the Essential Phil Keaggy, a lot of instrumental songs kept coming up on the playlist. But he's got a lot of songs too with vocals and songwriting in them. His first solo album was released back in 1973. That was What a Day, it's called. Since then, he has released over 55 albums and appeared as guest on many others.
Wow.
His first band before going solo actually was a band called Glass Harp. and he recorded 3 albums with them. One of his best-selling albums was in 1978, an album called The Master and the Musician. Your thoughts, Chris, on Phil Keaggy?
Awesome. One time I had a whole bunch of stuff of Phil Keaggy, but well, like in life, I moved too much and I lost everything. He's awesome. He really is. For those who don't know, I would YouTube him. I'm sure that he's got stuff on there that he's performed and played. He's got some, I'm sure, some great songs out there. If you're an avid guitarist like you are, I'm sure you would watch them and
Actually,
you
yeah,
know.
definitely. Let me just call up something here. It's funny because I didn't know much about Phil Keaggy myself until we started doing this episode and doing the research for it. There was something that came up on Facebook. There, a song of his called "Have Mercy, Lord" off of the album True Believer. That was back in 1990, released back in 95. It's
True
pretty
Believer,
good.
that's a good song that he wrote.
Okay.
That is a good
Okay.
song.
I don't know that one so much. There's another one on there called "Have Mercy, Lord." Actually, I did listen to True Believer a little bit, and a newer one called "All at Once," released in 2016. I actually had some really good stuff on there. There was a song on there called "Undertow," "Fearless Love," and "Ezekiel." Definitely worth checking out. So those are a few songs of his that have words and have actual lyrics to them. Definitely worth checking out. I know a lot of his stuff is very instrumental, almost progressive too. Some of it can go very lengthy and be very jam band type of thing where they just go on and on for a while. I got a little bit of a solo from Phil Keaggy here.
Wow.
So there you go. There's a little taste of Phil Keaggy for you. That came off the song "Fearless Love" back in 2016, off the album All at Once. Tons of stuff of his to go check out if you don't know anything about him. And it's funny because he was kind of off my radar for the longest time, but definitely worth a listen.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Would you say he's worth being a number one?
My number one was Bob Hartman.
Yeah, I know that. But would you say that Phil Keaggy is worth being a number one?
He would. See, I would go Bob Hartman, Phil Keaggy, Ken Tamplin, Michael Sweet.
What do you mean Michael Sweet at number 5? Jeez. I made my list. I'm sticking to it. But you know what? That's what we love on this program. Everybody has their own
We can
opinions.
revise it. Yeah.
Everybody's allowed their own opinions. And even if I don't agree with it, you're still allowed your own opinion.
Come on, Phil Keaggy's a legend.
Oh, yeah. No. I got nothing against Phil Keaggy. It's funny. He was, like I said, kind of off my radar until very recently. And if he wasn't on this list, I wouldn't have even heard of him. Or I would have heard of him. But that would have been as far as it went. But anyway, so that's our list of the top 10, and that concludes our list of the top 100. This is number 5 in the series. And you know what? I just came off of off of 2 weeks of holidays where I didn't do very much of the podcast. I got a little reminisce. I forgot to do a little bit of preparation, and we got our birthday list to talk about. And normally I do a little research and say not only who the artist is that's having a birthday, what band they're from, but also what when they were with the band and what they did within the band. And I didn't do my homework on that part. What I do have is I have the names and the bands they were with. So we're gonna quickly rattle off some birthdays for you. We're gonna go about halfway through September, and actually, and you know what? And the other half, I'll do as a bonus episode. It's been a while since I've done some bonus episodes. I want to give my thoughts on some of the Michael Sweet records, solo records, for a bonus episode. We'll talk about birthdays on a later bonus. With that being said, September 3rd was a busy day for birthdays. We have John D. Groff from Petra. I believe he was part of the early lineup of Petra. Back in part of the original lineup, I believe. Again, I'm not sure. Yeah, and again, I'm not sure. Well, Petra started in 1973.
Okay.
And John DeGroff was born in 1953. I'm not sure what he did, if he played drums or bass or anything like that. 1950, we have Doug Pinnick from King's X, one of the main guys. King's X is a great band, well respected amongst musicians. So Doug Pinnick would be the vocalist, the main vocalist for King's X. Probably played bass because King's X was a 3-piece band, meaning if Ty played guitar, Doug would have played bass. All right, from the band Leviticus and then later the band Jet Circus, we have Easy Gomer. His birthday is September 3rd as well, 1962. I know a little bit about Leviticus. I have the Jet Circus album. This was an interesting album. Some good hard rock and stuff. I think they used a little bit of electronic drums or something in that. But it was good. All right. For the heavy crowd, we have Jason Campbell of Mortification, born in 1970. And September 4th, Tim Watts of the band Demon Hunter, born in 1977. And then on September 4th, another new Christian, sort of new Christian, mainstream artist becoming Christian, Blackie Lawless of the band Wasp. If you have not heard his album with Wasp called Golgotha, definitely a Christian record there. Not every song is a gospel song. Not every song is a Christian song, but most of it is very good. And I would suggest check out the last track called Golgotha. Definitely a very Christian song. Blackie was born in 1956. All right, and then we got Doug Thyme, who did guitarist for Vengeance Rising and Die Happy later. Born September 4th.
Die Happy. Oh my goodness, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Actually, it's funny because the last episode from Christian Geeks Rockcast, they did the Vengeance Rising second album, Once Dead. And they were talking about how when the band after that, the band kind of broke up, and then they reformed, and instead of reforming Vengeance, they kind of reformed under Die Happy. But they were more of a bluesy rock band or more of a straightforward rock band when they formed Die Happy. And some of those influences of trying to go that way were evident on the Once Dead record. And we're actually going to talk about them hopefully sometime in the near future, or at least before the year is out. I want to do a history of the Christian thrash scene. We'll definitely have to talk about Vengeance Rising then, as well as the other pioneers on the scene. But yeah, Doug Thyme there. So yeah, he might have been part of the original lineup, I guess, of Vengeance Rising, if he was later part of Die Happy. And then on September 4th, we have an album anniversary. One of the recent records from Striper, Even the Devil Believes, was 5 years ago in 2020 and came out
Oh.
on September 4th. Okay, and I think that will be it for birthdays. You know what? Let's do one more. We were talking about Narnia earlier in the episode. Their bassist, Jonathan Samuelson, was born September 9th and born 1974. So there we go. That's it for birthdays, albums, anniversaries, and that's it for our top 10 list.
Right
Any more
on.
thoughts, Chris?
I don't have any more thoughts. No.
All right. So thanks for listening. Thanks for all the new subscribers that we have. Check out our new website, which I'll put in the link in the show notes or list there. And let us know what you think.
Yeah, we
Let
want
us know
your
what you-
comments, good or bad or comical, you know.
There you go. Or let us know what you think. Do you agree with this top 10 list? If you go back in the past episodes, was the people earlier in the list that should have been higher? Or what are your thoughts on that? And we did not compile this list, so
Yeah.
we just wanted to talk about it. Was all right. Keep on rocking. God bless everybody.
See you later.